With the help of the Community Foundation, Capital Region donors have supported the arts, medicine, education, programs for the elderly and the homeless, hundreds of organizations touching millions of people right here in our community.
The Community Foundation has been a friend to many of the artists in the community and arts organizations, including Capital Rep. We have several people who have funding at the Community Foundation who allow the foundation to give to places like Capital Rep for the great work we do on the stage. There's an old campsite adage that says that good men leave their campsites cleaner than they found them. And I think that's a really important legacy for people who care about other people and care about the world. I think that it's important to make sure that the world is okay. And I think that's a really hard job. And I think that places like the Community Foundation are seminal to making sure that that message and that action can take place and that we can make a real difference.
Our mission here is to provide excellent health care to patients of all backgrounds without regard to income. The Community Foundation provided a grant that we were able to use to buy new dental equipment.
The Community Foundation has helped Capital District Community Gardens so many different ways. Last year they helped us with funds to purchase our Vegemobile, which helped us get this mobile market on the road. The Vegemobile is providing easy access to fresh produce, and what that means is families who don't have supermarkets and markets in their neighborhood, they can now use the Vegemobile, which comes to their areas each week on a regular schedule. The Community Foundation helped us get two donors together to support the Vegemobile and helped us purchase the vehicle that got the project off the ground and into the streets of the inner city neighborhoods that we're serving in Troy, Albany, and Schenectady.
Because they know the needs of both the region and their donors, the Community Foundation can put together creative partnerships and solve problems. They can also help identify where a need exists and blaze new trails in the community.
Early on in the AIDS epidemic in 1994, when mainstream organizations weren't all that willing to take a risk to fund programs for people with AIDS, the Community Foundation agreed to accept funding from the National AIDS Fund in order to create something called the Community AIDS Partnership of the Capital Region, which raises and distributes money to local organizations that provide HIV prevention and care. And because of the Community Foundation's willingness to host the partnership, we've been able to raise about $2.4 million since the inception of the partnership that's been given to local agencies. In 1994, it took a lot of bravery for the Community Foundation to lend its credibility. I really have to thank the executive director at that time, Judy Lyons, who I think was deeply committed to moving the Community Foundation beyond its very small beginnings out into the community. And she knew that AIDS was an emerging issue. She was willing to take the risk to do that, and so was the board.
Not every project requires such wide, sweeping coordination. Sometimes it's just a few people focused on one specific goal. They just need a little help. Gordon Boyd is a volunteer at Mount McGregor Prison and a member of Bethesda Episcopal Church in Saratoga.
I started volunteering up here to teach and assist in classes where inmates are getting ready for their next parole hearing and getting ready possibly to get out. We started bringing our choir up here a few years ago.
On a visit to the prison chapel, Boyd and church organist Farrell Gehring discovered an antique pipe organ.
It's a type of organ that was built around the beginning of the 1900s in romantic style. Because of its vintage and the beauty of the sound that it makes, we thought that, and the room, as you can hear, is very live. So we thought the combination of all these things make this organ a valuable instrument. So turned it on, sure enough, it made a horrible noise, but it was just a pipe that was sticking. So I went inside the organ, pulled out the pipe, and everybody thought I had created some miracle. We decided that the organ was usable for our purposes, for accompanying the choir, even though not all of it was working at the time. And then after that, decided we had to do something to keep this organ going, to try and restore it, make it usable.
So I said, well, that sounds feasible. I think we can raise that. I've got a birthday coming up. And we were able to raise about $15,000. And we got it back on its feet for the first $13,000, $14,000. We've had a couple of additional visits since then, and we'd like to raise another $25,000 or $30,000 to really finish it off.
After the initial renovation, Gordon started a fund at the Community Foundation to pay for maintenance and upkeep on the instrument.
And it just seemed like a perfect fit for the kind of things that we were going to do, because we were never going to be a big money fund. Gave us everything that we needed, plus it allowed us to keep control over the money.
The investment Gordon Boyd and his friends made through the Community Foundation is paying dividends they never imagined. One inmate started taking lessons, and now others have taken an interest in music.
Music, to me, is therapy. Music is a very therapeutic thing for any inmate to do. It enables them to connect with what goes on inside of them. It helps them to find a productive way of releasing inner emotions and tension, and it gives them something to do with their mind. Doing something positive is only going to help the community, and it's going to help us be able to reintegrate into society.
Like all the funds at the Community Foundation, the Mount McGregor Organ Fund will continue to do the work Gordon Boyd and his friends began for years to come, even after they've passed on. It was that opportunity to establish something enduring that attracted John Boyd, no relation to Gordon, to set up a scholarship with the Community Foundation.
I started working years and years ago, and I was conservative. I saved every week.
John left Watervliet High School during the Great Depression to take his first job.
I made such a mistake, but at the time I didn't. The first job I had, I got $9 a week, and I was the only kid in the block that had any money. You know, I always had money. Every week I got $9. I think I should have went on to Yale or Harvard or someplace, but it just didn't happen, that's all.
John Boyd came to us. He knew that he wanted to start a scholarship at the Community Foundation, but he wasn't exactly sure how to go about doing that. So what he comes in is he comes and sits with us. He works with us to figure out how to set up a scholarship fund for what school, what the criteria is, who he's going to pick to be on his committee, and then we help him find the students and get the money to that student.
2 students get a grant if they've got good marks and if they need the money. The year I set it up, holy jeez, they had a big to-do in the high school. And the balcony was full of kids, and they're standing and they're cheering and they're just raising heck, you know.
John set up an endowment, so when he passes on, a portion of his estate will continue to fund his scholarship, helping generations of students achieve their dreams.
Because I regret not going myself. So I enjoy knowing that they are, thanks to me, thanks to my help.
For 40 years, the Community Foundation for the Greater Capital Region has been helping people like John make a difference in their community by funding projects important to them. And by gathering and growing funds from donors, they'll be able to keep doing that work forever, really. To that end, the Community Foundation is working with the Stakeholders, a group that's growing the next generation of philanthropists.
I absolutely do see a positive future for philanthropy in the Capital Region, precisely because I know that Generations X and Y do want to be part of the process. We are less apt to write a check and walk away. We do want to be part of the process and seeing what our philanthropic dollars accomplish in the community. And part of what the stakeholders will do is bring together those young people that may not be able to write a huge check at this time, but might be able to write a smaller check, but collectively we can have a bigger impact by pooling our money together and our funds at the Community Foundation.
And in doing that, Catherine Hedgeman and the stakeholders are working to grow the circle of philanthropists in the Capital Region, a circle that was once very small, but today is open to all sorts of people, people who want a legacy, people who have a passion, people who want to give others a chance they never had, people who just want to make the Capital Region a better place. and the Community Foundation is making that possible.